Hello?
Hey, man.
Hey, brother RT, how's it going, man?
Shalom, bro.
How you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
All right. I thought maybe I'd give you a call and we could have a conversation about Yahuwah. You up to it?
Always.
I'm going to put you on speakerphone so I can hear you better.
Okay. I got a big mouth. You ought to be able to hear that.
Yeah, I was just doing some reading scriptures and stuff the other day, man, and I kind of happened to start thinking about, the omnipotence of Yahuwah. Scripture tells us that, Yahuwah is love, truth, and a spirit indwelling in unapproachable light, but I started thinking about his actual qualities of his that just define him, that like specifically, refer to Yahuwah and nobody else. And so they're like, he's omnipotent, which means he's all powerful, and omnipresent, which means he's everywhere present, and his omniscience, which means he's all knowing. And so I thought maybe I'd give you a call and see what you know about his omnipotence. Have you ever thought about that before?
Yeah.
What you think about it?
All powerful.
He's all powerful, ain't he?
All powerful.
Well,
in fact, he's the all power. His thoughts are even higher than our thoughts. His ways are higher than ours.
yeah.
But still can indwell me and you. That's what's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, his power is just, I was thinking about how powerful he is, where he can just talk, anything that comes out of his mouth comes to life. Just the power in creation itself, like lightning, energy, all that kind of stuff is minor, compared to how powerful he is.
I don't think we, in our minds as humans, can really conceive that kind of power.
I don't either.
And when I think about it, it even gets more powerful. How powerful he really is.
Yeah, even his what they used to call him, Al Shaddai. That means all powerful, or powerful beyond conception. Or so, in other words, I mean, just that title attached to his name right there, YAHUAH Al Shaddai, means that he is all powerful beyond human conception. I mean, so we can't even imagine the power he has. You ever wonder how long he's I mean, it says he's always been there, So, I mean, maybe there's an infinity that goes backwards, everything of that. So we always think about infinity is starting right now where we're at and going forward, to an unending, destination where there's no end. Yeah. But how about the other way, where he came from? Infinity has to be that way too, doesn't it? Does infinity go both ways? I mean, talking in reference to Yahuwah.
Yeah. I actually sometimes think that he was creating, as he was creating for us, those other things he'd already created that we don't even know about. And then I think that he's still creating. That's who he is. He is a creator and a maker. And I think he's still creating, even though we have what we have here he's created, but outside, or say he existence, he's still creating. I don't think that's what I think in no end. When I think of his son, Yahushua, and said his rule shall have no end, that's what I think of. That is, or when I think of just simple statements that the Master told us, that in Yahuwah's presence or in my Father's place, there's many rooms. How many could that comprehend? Just in our existence. I think there's more to it than that. I think he's going to do more.
I just wondered sometimes about that, what you just said. It's kind of ironic you brought it up, because I was just thinking about that the other day. When it says he's at where he is, there's in his mansion, there's many rooms. And to me, that's in a literal sense. So in other words, lately in my studies, I've been kind of coming to into the truth that Scripture is more spiritual. Matter of fact, it's all spiritual. But the things that are written in there are meant to go take us to a spiritual level of understanding that's impossible to understand if we're living in the mind of the flesh, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, everything has a spiritual meaning behind it. It's not not just what it seems, it's more than that. And so what I'm meaning is that when he says there's many rooms in his mansion, in the literal sense, we think of a big castle or something with a bunch of rooms, like a big hotel or something. But spiritually, as I was thinking about that, was that we're all his temple. So his body, his people, he indwells in us. So basically, we're all his rooms. See what I'm saying? So within his mansion are many rooms. So all his people that make up his body, or his tower, or his mansion, or temple, are us. Kind of like the New Jerusalem that's coming back, when his kingdom comes back down on Jerusalem, the new city. I think is really spiritual means us. You know what I'm saying? Because we're his indwelling place. He indwells us. What do you think? You ever think about that?
Yeah. If you really think about it, like I heard a comment one time, how much space does the Spirit take up? When you think of Yahuwah and just how much a room of Spirit takes up, then you've got to try to comprehend that space. Because my breath don't take up a whole lot, but if you think in his place is many rooms, that means there's no end to that space. The way I look at it, there's no way you could feel that. How could you feel that, man?
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? Because we're spirit. I know we're gonna have the immortal body and all that, but like Yahushua, transform ourselves maybe or something. But when you look on that side, but when you think of space. Because when you think about how much space does the Spirit take up?
Yeah, I don't know, man, but I
don't think it takes up much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's mind blowing to consider that everything is in him. I mean, he's a spirit, right? We know he's spirit and dwelling in unapproachable light.
And we're in him.
But we're in him,
and he's in us.
But we're in him. Everything that's created is in him. So how big can he be? I mean, the power, I mean, and he's keeping everything alive and turning and working, and he's breathing in everybody. I mean, the power of his breath has got to be amazing. The power in his breath, man.
You know, I think of Adam, and when he just took dust, which we are, and made him, and breathed into his nostrils, that statement alone, and he became living, that just, it may not mean that to a lot, but to me, he breathed into his nostrils, he became living. And King Daud, or we call him David, he even asked in a prayer, don't take that breath, don't take your rock from me. Don't take that breath from me. I without that. Or he says all in the Psalms that he returns my breath. Some people think, I think that they think the alarm clock gets them up, brother, in the morning. They don't realize it's the very breath of Yahuwah, whether they conceive that or not. He determines that breath each and every day, doesn't he?
Are you trying to hide from me or something?
No.
Because I can only see you from your eyeballs that up, man.
Sorry,
must be way down here or something.
Can you see me now?
Clarity. I can hear you though. That's all. Oh, there you are.
How's that?
I know. You look like you was down in a hole with your head poking up.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we've been talking about, what the actual word for that is an omni. You know, omni means all. You know, omni, all means all. So, and potent, omnipotent altogether is all powerful. That's what that means. But you brought up a pretty good. The last thing you were saying there reminds me of his all present, that he's all present, you know, so we kind of hit into that, but that omnipresence, all presence is also kind of mind-blowing if you think about it. You know, that's where we were talking about he's in all of us, or he's in us, and everything is in him, so he's everywhere. I mean, I was thinking about that last night, and can you imagine that he is down into the microscopic world, keeping that going, and he's also in the entire universe, in the tenses which he created, you know, past, present, future. Those aren't. He's not restricted by those like we are, you know, because they're also in him and he's in them, you know, because everything's his creation. Other than him specifically, he created everything, including, you know, the three tenses, past, present, and future, and time and space. Well, that's all his creation. So that means that he's in it, and it is in him. See what I mean? So he's everywhere, you know, all at once, man. I mean, that's hard to wrap your mind around, considering within the microscopic world, okay, there's even, they say, you know, that even within the microscopic world, there's even a smaller world, a micro type, micro, whatever world inside of that one. And so he has to be in all that to keep it alive and existing. I mean, that's crazy, man. What do you think of that?
Back years ago, they used to have a lot of talk about how they would, an atom, when you think of an atom and how small that is, and they could, through that, actually tried to split that atom into those parts, and to think how small that is, and yet Yahuwah's still in that.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
We don't hear the word atoms a lot, but they do exist. They're that's that small world, the atoms.
But he has to be in it and it in him for it to exist, because he's the life giver. So if he's not in it and it in him, it can't exist. Or, you know what I'm saying? It would cease to exist. So he has to be in that little atom.
You're talking about exist. Yeah. The scriptures that are flying through my mind, that the emissary, they call him Paul, but Shaul, he even told us in the book of Hebrews that when it comes to believe, he that cometh to him must believe that he exists. The importance of his existence actually determines our belief, if you really think about that, man. It says if we come to him, we have to believe he exists. That word alone, he exists.
Right.
You can't, and then he goes on and said, without that belief, it's impossible to please Yahuwah. You've got to just know that he exists. The existence of Yahuwah, I think, is what's got the atheists got their minds blowed. You know, the ones that say that he don't exist, or that what is it? Bang, everything happened. That
belief is believing that he exists, but the belief can also mean that that you believe what he says. You know, when he says something, right? So you can believe his existence. You can believe in what he's saying in his word. You know, that it's true. He's trustworthy and true. That it will happen, right?
Without that substance, because it tells us all in what they call the belief chapter. Now belief is, and some versions say, the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen.
What's the belief chapter?
Well, they call it the 11th chapter of Abram, or Hebrews. I've heard it mentioned a lot. They call that the
belief chapter.
The belief. Well, it's hard not to say faith to those that are out there, because
that's a pagan name.
That's a pagan name. So I'm trying to hold back from that for those that might be watching. When you talk faith, they may chime in on that, but we're to let them in on it. I hope they understand that's not a real cool word to allow to believe your existence of Yahuwah on. It's belief. Belief. The Amunah. The steadfast, the trustworthiness that Yahusha is actually hoping he'll find when he comes back, brother. I was thinking about the other day. You talking about I don't get off, but he said, when I come back and return, will I find Amunah? Will I even find that people, even if you think about it, well, I'm going to find somebody that actually believes that we exist, or that Yahuwah exists.
Who was that? Elijah, I think it was, that was saying that he was the only one left. Nobody else believed in him or whatever. Wasn't that something similar to that, or was that?
Yeah, he got upset and sat around, and then Yahuwah says, "Look, get up from your little pity party. I got 7,000 that have not bowed their name or bowed their knees to Lord."
Or kissed, Baal.
Right, same thing, Lord.
So when they say kiss, like kiss the Son or kiss Baal, does that mean you're saying the name out of your mouth? Is that what he means by kiss the Son? You say Yahusha? You actually say the true name, so that's what that means. You kiss the Son.
Possible.
Or does that mean believe, that you believe in him? What do you think it means? Kiss the Son. What do you take that as a meaning?
I think that in some translations, that verse in Psalms where it says to kiss the Son, it's not even there. It's like a lot of other verses that are, they say are there, but are not there. It's like they added in there. And I was reading an article one time on Kiss the Son, and it was more talking about the purity of the Messiah, relating to the purity of the Messiah. Without that purity, then there's really no true deliverance, is there?
Well, I mean,
Without the purity of the Messiah, can we comprehend the purity of sinless in a sinful world, and to even comprehend sinless, the purity of the Son? What I'm saying is, that's existence. That's reality. That is existence. The purity of Yahushua is the existence. That exists in this dark, sinful world. His purity still exists, regardless of what everybody's trying to bring them down to their level or whatever. Yahuwah exists. His purity exists. It is possible for us to have that existence.
right. His purity is his righteousness, in which he places in us through our gift of belief. He gives us the gift of belief in his existence. Otherwise, nobody, if he didn't give us the gift of belief, then nobody would believe in him. You can't just start believing on him on your own. He has to give you the gift of belief, and to be able to trust him and believe that he is who he says he is, and he can do what he says he can do.
Amen.
But the righteousness or the purity that you were saying in Yahusha is what's in us, and so when he looks down at us, or basically when he focuses his eyes on us, we'll just say, for no other way of saying it, that he sees Yahusha's purity or righteousness in us, and so that's why he remembers our sin no more, because he's not seeing our sin or weakness. He's seeing the purity of Yahusha inside of us, because Yahusha is connected with our being inside our oxygen tanks, right? This flesh is just an oxygen tank that's keeping our being or our spirit alive, right? Our inner man. So when Yahusha goes in there and dwells with our being, then his purity covers up, our being, to the point where Yahuwah looks at us. He only sees Yahusha's purity or righteousness in us, and he remembers our sins no more. See what I'm saying?
Amen.
So it must be so much more powerful, or his spirit is so much more obvious, and apparent than ours, that he don't even see our little being. He just sees Yahusha's, man. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you think about it,
kind of like what you're trying to get at, wasn't it?
When you consider the purity of our Messiah,
Yeah.
Without that spotless that we're going to be, the bride that he deserves. I mean, I think of it in the mornings that we're his bride, and he's the husband. We have those marriage vows. And then I think to myself, I ask Yahusha, please let us that are yours be the bride you deserve, Yahusha, because you're coming back for that bride that was spotless, blameless. So even though all the hang-ups that me and you got still to Yahushua, we're pure, brother. And I can't comprehend that because I got a lot of issues. But to him, we're his bride. We're adorned.
Yeah, we're his virgin bride.
That's right.
So his blood, the blood of Yahushua, has the power, okay, to return us from being an adulterous whore or an adulterous lover of the world, and convert us back into a virgin bride, his virgin bride, the status of being a virgin bride. His blood can return us to a virgin status, man. So when he removes us from being an adulterous lover of the world, or an idolater is actually what that is. You're an idolater. If you're an idolater, you're a whore. You're whoring after other mighty ones, right? So celebrating all the holidays, going to play in church, and following lies and false teachings. That's all being a lover of the world. And Scripture says, if you love the world, then you are an enemy of Yahuwah.
Yes,
right?
It does.
Doesn't it say something like that?
It sure does.
Somewhere in there. Maybe First John, I think, isn't it?
You're an enemy of Yahuwah.
Yeah.
You're a friend of the world. And even when he talked about, if you talk about the word religion, he puts it in a fact. We was talking about that not long ago. The pure religion, undefiled before Yahuwah, is that you're unspotted from the what? World.
The world, huh?
You got to keep unspotted from the world's.
Matter of fact, there's such an enemy of Yahuwah if you're a lover of the world that people that are called out, talking to you, you can't even hear them. So if you're of the world, you can't hear the children of light or the chosen of Yahuwah, the elect. You can't even hear what they're saying. It's like your ears are dulled. You know what I mean? Because if you're of the world, you don't hear the children. But the people that are of Yahuwah can hear you. So if you're talking to another person that's of the elect or the body of Yahushua, they can hear what you're saying and they understand what you're saying. It's like when Yahushua said, why do you not understand me? Because I'm speaking the truth, And so if they're in the world, their father is actually the father of lies. If you're out of the world and you're following truth, then your father is the father of lights, or Yahuwah, who is truth. And so there's two distinct situations there where the father of lights has no truth in him at all, and the father of lies has no truth whatsoever in him, and the father of lights has no lies in him. So if you're a child of the light or son of the light, okay, you hear the other people that are in that group, which you don't want. You're repulsed by the group of the liars, and the ones that are following the father of lies, they can't hear you when you speak truth, because Yahuwah is truth and he's spiritual. So being in the mind of the flesh, they can't hear the ones that are in the mind of the spirit. It's pretty wild stuff, man, if you really start thinking deep about that,
Well, just go ahead and tell them, whoever's listening, to think this thought that a half truth is a whole lie.
Whoever's listening, you want me to put this on video?
Yeah, somebody may be listening. Half truth's a whole lie. It says in our scriptures, if people really search, that Yahuwah is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. So there's no gray areas in the belief world. You're either with him or against him.
Right. So I have your permission to post this on YouTube, this conversation.
Can two walk together except they be agreed?
I'm taking that as a yes. Anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. That, you know, the third distinct quality that only Yahuwah has. I mean, he's the only one that's all powerful and everywhere present, man. I mean, they try to label Santa Claus with those qualities, but Santa Claus doesn't have them qualities. He can't see everybody in the world all at once and know if you're being good or bad, naughty or nice, and he can't travel everywhere in one night. You know, that's Yahuwah's qualities. Satan can't even do that. You know, it's ridiculous. So those qualities of being all powerful, everywhere at once, you know, and knowing, all knowing, are only the only body possesses those qualities is Yahuwah, not Santa Claus or Satan. Even, you know, the Father of Lies can't even come close to that either. You know. So anyway, what I was saying was the all knowing, you know, aspect he's got, where they call it the Omni science or omniscience, all knowing. You ever think about that, man? That was I think we were talking about that once before, but you know, the one thing I was wanting to get back to you on that one to finish off our conversation was I was thinking about his thoughts, you know, are so detailed and complex, you know, that just a single thought, if you really think about it, in the mind of Yahuwah could be like 10,000 years long. Just one thought, because he thinks about it in such integral detail. In other words, man, you know, based on 1 year as being 1,000 years to him, you know, 1 year is the same as 1,000 years. 1,000 years is 1 year to Yahuwah.
I mean, 1 day. 1 day is 1,000.
1 day, sorry, yeah, 1 day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a 1 day to him, because he's infinity, right? Actually, infinity is his creation too, so he's beyond infinity. He's not even restricted by infinity, man. If you want to really think about that, I mean, that's mind blowing. So he's the Alpha and the Omega, right? Or the Alpha, the Leaf, and the Taw. Okay, so somewhere, but he's the beginning and the end. So somewhere between the beginning and the end lies infinity, because everything's in him and he's in everything. So he invented infinity. So he's beyond that, man. Infinity has to fit in between the first and the last, because it's his creation. I mean, that's crazy, man. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, you know, with that equation that we're given, that 1 day is the same as 1,000 years. If you do the math on that, and if we live to be 100 years old, okay, Yahuwah, in Yahuwah's reality, we only live to be like 2.3 seconds old. Our life is 2.3 seconds, you know. So if you think about that, you know, no wonder Scripture says that our life is like a mist, you know, or vapor. Here 1 second for a little while and then gone. Just disappear like a vapor in the morning, and the sun comes out and dries it up. You know, 2.3 seconds, man. That's all we got in Yahuwah's world, in his reality. Is that crazy? So, wow, huh?
I can't comprehend on that. I'm thinking of the Psalms a lot. When the statements on what you're talking about, that the Psalms relate to that, what you're talking about there so much, because it's odd you said that about the 1,000. I reckon that's what went to my head. The king even said that I would rather spend 1 day with Alahim than 1,000 days elsewhere. Or, you know, then he goes on and says, Yahuwah, make me to know my end, that I may measure my days. And every time I think about that, it's one thing none of us know how we're going to end. Yahushua only knew his ending, but make me to know my end, that I may measure my days.
Crazy. Yeah, only Yahuwah has the power to choose when somebody's going to die, or
That's what, and knows.
Die, and he knows.
That's what I'm saying. His all-knowing power. He knows how many hairs on mine in your head right now, or even in your beard. He knows how many strands are in that beard.
Exactly.
And when he, well, what about the steps of a righteous man are numbered? Job even said that. Yahuwah even is so awesome that every person created, he knows how many steps they're going to take in their lifetime before they end. And then it goes on and says that when a bird, one bird, falls out in the mountains, Yahuwah knows exactly when that bird falls. And you talking about everything of Yahuwah, man, how many birds are in the skies, man? And one falls out in the mountains, and he knows exactly when that bird falls.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man. To know that, expand of that knowledge is awesome.
Right. Speaking about his numbering, he knows the number of your hairs and all that. Listen to this. I was thinking about that the other day. He knows how many specks of dust are on the earth. He knows how many specks of dust it took to create Saturn or Jupiter or something, one of the planets. Okay, he knows how many molecules of oxygen is in the atmosphere right now. He had to know all that to create it. He knows how many cells are in your body and how many cells are in each strand of your DNA. And he knows what's inside of them. And that brings up a good point, man. He probably has every speck of dust, say, just in our house, laying on the windshield, floating around in the air and stuff. He knows exactly how many pieces of dust is floating around in my house right now. And he probably has a name for each speck of dust. Okay? Because he created it. You know, he had to think about that through all of existence. So to know, to make it. See what I'm saying? He had to visualize it and know about it in order to create it. You know, so he saw even that. And then, but that, you know, that brings up a good point, man, is that what blows my mind probably the most about Yahuwah is that how he created the scales. And even out of our reality. So in other words, what I'm saying is that the microscopic world that we know of just on our planet is in their scale is larger than our universe is on our scale. And Yahuwah is in there. He's in that. That's a bigger scale or a bigger reality of a universe than what we know that's in our universe, you know, within that scale. And he's in there, you know. But if you look at our existence on our scale, okay, of the universe that is, you know, phenomenally huge, okay, we're just a little speck of dust floating around out in outer space somewhere, man. Like that, what's in your room when the sun comes through, you see all that dust flying around. We're just one of those little specks of dust flying, floating around in our universe compared to the size of the universe. And don't even get me started about comparing it to infinity, you know, because we're probably microscopic within a microscopic world as far as infinity goes. That's how small we are. But yet, in our reality, it looks humongous, So Yahuwah is in our scale. He's in that microscopic scale. He's in our scale. And who knows what other scale, that's out there that he's in. You know what I'm saying? The scale blows my mind. The scale of things is phenomenal to me. You ever consider that?
And when you were saying that, I was thinking about this being comical. One day, a guy was talking about in the same thing, and he said, if you think about all that and this in him, come out of him, because there's nothing that all things are created by him and for him. There's nothing exists that he didn't make or know about.
Right.
I hope he don't inhale, because that's what the man said. If he inhales, we're gone. All Yahuwah has to do is go, and we're all gone, Bubba. We're going right back to what we come from. I know it's comical, but if you think about it, if Yahuwah inhales, everything you're talking about goes right back, doesn't it? If everything come out of him.
I don't know, but that kind of falls on the same lines as
I hope he don't inhale.
Matrix, okay? Because his thoughts are so deep that when he thinks, it happens, comes into existence. His words can speak things in existence, but maybe his very thoughts, okay, give life. Maybe his thoughts gives his power gives life to his thoughts. So maybe we're just one of his thoughts. Maybe we're just a matrix. We're just in a thought in the mind of Yahuwah right now. I mean, that's some deep stuff, man, but you never know, because he thinks about things so deeply, and it has to be in such a long time period, because he's always been. How long did he think about creation before he actually decided to create it?
I think that too.
Some sort of a reality.
Yeah.
Well, we don't even know if our reality is his reality. Like I said, we could be a thought in the back of his mind right now and don't even know it, man. I hope not. But that kind of goes. Those kind of thoughts kind of go along with the exhaling, and we're all doomed.
What it's kind of. I mean, you think about it. We all come out of him, and the guy was serious. I had to go out. He said, "I just hope that the Creator don't inhale, because if he does, we're all gone, standing here right now, because we all come out of him."
Breathe on me. Don't take the stuff away from me, right? That's what King David said that.
Yeah.
He said, Yahuwah, don't take your ruach from me, right?
Right. Like you said the other night, a lot of people don't realize that their very breath is Yahuwah. In and out, in and out. And what you're saying, that in certain places, and not to offend no one in Christian beliefs or whatever, but they don't really, I don't think they comprehend that the very breath we're taking right now is Yahuwah.
I know it.
He's our very breath, man.
It says that in, I think Job, I believe that it says that if Yahuwah would take the mind to withdraw his breath from his creation, that all man would cease to exist immediately. We don't just return to dust immediately if he if he would retract his breath. I think that says that in Job.
Yeah. That's basically what I said a while ago. That guy was saying if he inhales, then we're all back to beginning, Yeah. While you're sitting on that, when Moshe, we know that Moshe is credited for the Bereshit or Genesis. In the beginning, Yahuwah created heaven and earth, just that statement alone. And then it talks about the first day he did and second day. If one day is 1,000 years to Yahuwah, like you said, we read that on our scale. But how long was it really before the first day and the second day and the third day to Yahuwah. Not to our scale, but to Yahuwah.
Yeah,
If one day is 1,000 years, how long was it before the second day he actually decided to do something?
1,000 years, according to his scale.
According to that scale. So if
scale.
Adam is made on what? Was it the 6th day Adam's made?
6th day.
So that's 6,000 years had gone before Adam was even thought of or in the thought for Yahuwah to give breath to the dust.
That's right.
Because we're dust.
That's right, man.
He remembers that our frame is made of dust. I think of that all the time when I hear brothers say, when you look at somebody else and you get thinking about something, just remember they're dust like you are. We're just a speck of dust, brother.
That's right.
That ought to keep our attitudes down to that. And when the atheists come out, and I was looking at the atheistic thought, talking about what we're talking about here, an atheist don't want to hear, brother. We're talking about the existence of Yahuwah, YAHUAH. We're talking about him. And it said in one meaning, it also, atheist had a meaning that you live as though he don't exist. And when I read that, I said, how many people today, they believe that Yahuwah exists, but they're living as though he don't, because you're not obedient to him. And when we're not obedient, think about it, to him, aren't we living as though he don't exist?
Yeah.
We're telling others that he don't exist if we don't obey his word or obey his that is his existence, is his word. So if we don't obey his word, how important obedience is to Yahuwah, I think nobody has got it in their scale yet, how serious the obedience to Yahuwah and his word and his existence. It's like saying Yahuwah is a liar. It says in John that if we do not believe the record that he gave Yahusha, then we made Yahuwah a liar. When I read that statement, I'm thinking, no wonder Yahuwah and his wrath, when it gets poured out, to think to the inhabitants of this world that have defiled it, we defiled it because the first ones, like you told me not long ago, don't believe the lie. It's going around it, and it don't believe Yahuwah's word is what got us all in this trouble to begin with. He said the day you eat that fruit, what happens?
Yeah, there's something in there about that, what you're just saying. I think it's Romans 8, I think, but it says that he gave them over to a contrived mind.
Reprobate.
Huh?
A reprobated mind.
Yeah, reprobated mind, because they knew that he existed, but they had a reference, okay, for him, but they didn't acknowledge his power. So in other words, they ignored the power of Yahuwah, man. And so he gave them over to that reprobate mind, and so they started doing bizarre and unnatural things to their bodies, like homosexuality. You know, they started worshiping creation instead of the creator. And so he just said he just turned them over to their own lusts and desires and evil minds, you know, the wretchedness, and they started perverting. They became perverted and evil, you know, and because they, like you said, calling him a liar or ignoring him, his existence, but they know that he exists because he wrote the Torah in his creation. And he also wrote it in our conscious mind way before we got the written record of it.
That's
so
right.
They have no excuse. They know he exists. Everybody knows. They can say they don't believe he exists. You know, they can say there's a Big Bang Theory, or we came from a monkey, or there's aliens out there. But they all know that they're lying. That's a doctrine of the father of lies. You know, it's false doctrine. It's, a poisonous doctrine that will send you to the lake of fire, you know, and they know it. They may say they don't, and they may act like they don't, but Scripture says they know. And then they still turned away, and that's why he turned them over to perversion. So, yeah, exactly, man.
First chapter.
Romans 8, ain't it? Ain't that Romans 8?
First chapter Romans, when he brings that out, they was talking about that they were, they claimed to be wise, but they were fools. Then Paul goes on and says that they knew the Creator, but they chose, that word's power, they chose to serve the creature rather than the Creator.
Yeah, right.
So who's the creature?
Well, we're the creatures, man.
You know what I mean? The creature to me, the wrong one, the lie, like you said, the darkness, they chose to take that lie. They would rather have a lie than hold to the truth that he exists and live that way.
Right.
And that's when he said, okay, if that's what you want, turn them over. Just like the strong delusion today that people
he's just laying back, kind of watching them to see what they'll do. Well, he already knows, but he's saying, all right, I'll just go back then and go ahead and live in your myth, your falsehood, your fantasy, your dream world. Live by your dreams, share them with your neighbors, do what you want. How much is up here? Just watch you do it, and see how you stumble and fall, But guess what? The ones that have a true and loving heart, and a true love for me and my truth and my love, I'm going to call them out of that mess. And I'm going to say, come out of her, my people. Yes. I'm going to make them a treasured possession.
Yes.
Up on high, up on the top shelf by themselves, and I'm going to deliver them because they're going in my book of remembrance. The rest of y'all, I'll deal with you later at the second judgment. Go ahead and do what you want to do. It's been nice talking to you, but I got to get going. I'll talk to you soon, man. Continue the conversation.
Man, we about to get caught up in the rapture there, will we, brother?
if you ever feel like you're stupid some days, you feel like you're like stupid or something, just remember that there's people actually out there in the world believing in that they're waiting for the rapture, man. It'll make you feel like you're a genius.
They done went and bought them some rapture insurance.
Yeah. Just call Benny Hinn and get some rapture insurance, man, before we go. That's silly. That's ridiculous. But hey, I got to run, man. I appreciate you. I love talk. That was a good conversation. Omni, all. He's our all in all. He's our Omni and Omni, all in the great all in all. He's all present, all knowing. Blessed be the name of Yahuwah. Barak haba b'shem Yahuwah, brother.
Barak haba b'shem Yahuwah.
I love it, man. I got to get going now. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.